Hello everyone, my name is Ms Muskan Tomar and I'm from Velocity. I'm a software tester. So today we'll go through this core concepts of software testing, including the SDLC, the software life cycle, and the bug life cycle, the testing types, manual versus automation testing, black box, white box testing, the different testing types, the testing models. So we'll go through all these details. So this is our agenda for today. We'll also go through the software the testing levels, the functional testing, non-functional testing, and some overview of the tools that are popular these days. So let's move to our first topic, that is SDLC, the software testing life cycle. So in this we have several phases. The first one is the requirement analysis, in which we understand the requirement. We gather all together and then we understand what is to be tested. Then the second step is the test planning, and where we define the scope of testing, the approaches, resources, and the schedule. Then we have the test case development, and where we write our test cases and prepare the actual test data. Then comes the test environment development. In that, we write our test cases and set up the hardware and software. Then we have the test execution, where we run the tests and log our results. Then finally comes our test cycle closure, where we do all the reporting, analysis, and the documentation. Now let's move towards the software defect life cycle. The defect life cycle follows these steps. That is, first it will be marked as new, assigned, open. It will be fixed by the developer. Then the tester will have to retest it again, verify it, and then close it. And also we can reopen it if it is not fixed or reoccurs. Then the developer can also mark it rejected, deferred, or duplicate in case it is not working. I mean, it is not a defect, actually, it is working on his machine, or he has to give a proper conclusion and the statements he has to give that it is working. Then we have next one is the software principles. So basically, there are seven software principles. First one is that testing shows the presence of defects. So that's a valid scenario wherever you take any tool in the world, it won't be without defects. Every tool has defects, and their absence is not at all possible. Next one is exhaustive testing is impossible. You can't keep on doing testing always. There is a point you need to decide that you need to stop testing at this point. You have found all the major defects, and now you can close your testing. Then next one is your early testing. So the earlier you test, the cheaper it is to fix the defects. Then we have defect clustering, so where we find more defects in a particular module. So that module we focus more. Then is the pesticide paradox, where we repeat the same test, and if we keep on repeating the same steps, same test cases, same test data we use, we won't find any new defects. So we need to change our approach. Next one is testing is context dependent. That means what works for one system might not work for another. Then we have last principle, that is absence of errors is a fallacy. That means even if the software is bug free, it may still not meet the business needs. Next, let's move towards the testing types. So we have smoke testing, regression testing, sanity testing, performance testing, and usability testing. So in regression testing, we verify old features. where even after new changes, the old features work as is. Then in the smoke testing, we make sure the basic checks are working and the build is testable. Then comes the sanity testing, where we narrow down the testing after smaller changes. After smaller changes are done, we do test those out. Then we have integration testing also and sanity testing. So in integration testing, we verify modules whether they interact correctly or not. Then we have system testing where we verify the end-to-end functionality. So which serves a unique purpose. All these serve a unique purpose in assuring the quality of the product. Let's move towards the manual testing. What is manual testing? Manual testing is anything where a human is involved and he can do exploratory testing like a normal random user. You just scroll through the application and find whether it is user friendly or having some issues while performing some actions. Then the flexibility you're checking whether it is flexible for a user to use. And manual testing is time consuming, of course. So now let's move towards the automation testing. Automation testing is for fast executions, reusable scripts, the consistent results, and Selenium. The tools we use are Selenium, WebDriver IO, and Velocity. In my company, we are using WebDriver IO with TypeScript. So it is used for both UI testing as well and the API testing as well. You can also make use of Postman for API testing. Then we have white box testing. So white box testing, testers need to understand the code. The unit testing, which is done by the developers, and the integration testing can be done using this white box testing. Wherever it is basically done where you understand the internal code and the logic. Then let's move towards the black box test. So black box testing is where the testers don't know the internal logic. They test based on the inputs and the outputs. Then yeah. So sorry, I forgot to move towards to this slide. Black box testing, as we discussed, input output based testing, functional and non functional testing. Then we have the models, the testing models. So the first model is the waterfall model where we test sequentially. We only test after the development is done. Then we have the V model. V stands for verification and validation, which happen parallelly. Every dev has a stage, like with every dev, a QA is there. You need to test simultaneously with the developer. Then we have the agile waterfall, which is continuous testing, quick feedback, and sprints follow this model. So we also have agile method where we follow a 14-day sprint, and after every 14 days we do the deployment in production. And then we have the spiral model, which is basically out of these models, agile model is used mostly. Let's move towards the testing levels. So there are four testing levels. First one is the unit testing, which is done by the developers to test the code modules. Then we have integration testing, where we check the data flow between components. Then in system testing, we do the complete end-to-end testing of the applications. And then we have acceptance testing, that is user acceptance testing. That is also of two types, alpha and beta. So that is done by users, end users, or the business to validate the requirements. So then we have CI/CD pipelines also, which we discuss in a while. Let's move towards the functional and non-functional testing. So what is functional testing? Functional testing is where you know what is supposed to be tested, like login, data submission, navigation flow. Does the system do what it is supposed to do? Is it fulfilling your requirements? What a non-functional tester does, he tests the performance, the security, the usability. That is, it addresses how well does the system perform. So it also has the compatibility testing, which is searching it across the browsers, the devices. Usability testing is for the user experience. Security testing is for the vulnerability attacks. A hacker might hack your website. And performance testing is for the response time, to check how much load it can handle, your website can handle. Then let's discuss about the popular testing tools. First one is the Azure DevOps or the Jira. So it is for all your user stories. All your user stories will be mapped there. All your bugs will be mapped there. Your test cases will be mapped there. Then you have Postman. So for Postman, you do all the API testing. You can also perform your automation API testing in Postman. Then with the help of WebDriver IO and TypeScript, like you have Selenium and Java, you can do the automation. Then we have CI/CD pipelines, which is like Jenkins, GitHub Actions for integrating your tool with your automation script. So you can schedule it and automatically the whole code will run. Like for example, during your regression testing, you can make use of this. Then we have in our company what we use a screenshot for taking the screenshots, and for creating the GIFs or videos for recording our results, we do use ShareX. So these are the major tools that we use. I have mentioned Browser Stack AI here as well because recently we were exploring Browser Stack AI. So they have introduced a really interesting feature. You can also explore it. So where you add your document, PDF document, and it generates a huge test cases list. So you can make use of those test cases and your life will be much easier. Then it also offers low code automation. It's like a Selenium IDE. If we use that, it will generate a whole script for you. You can import that script for your larger test cases. So these are some tools which we use daily. So as we were discussing about the CI/CD pipeline, it is for continuous integration, continuous development, and some tools are Jenkins, GitHub Actions, Azure DevOps, which we can use for the integration. So let me walk you through the pipeline and Azure portal. So this is how your Azure looks like. Here you have the Wikipedia where you can store all your major documents related to your product or your company. Then we have the work items where you will find all your user stories. Your defects can also be added here. And you have boards to see your daily boards, backlogs, sprints. You can track all your work items here. Then all these are extra things we are not using. Then we have repos for committing. It's like GitHub where you add all your branches, and or you can add all your code here. Your PRs can be approved from here. Then you have your pipelines. I'm on the pipeline page currently. So this is where we run all our pipelines. So as I was saying that we can run all the pipelines here with the help of CI/CD pipeline, and we have done it here. So at the time of regression, we do execute all our test cases from here. Then we have test plans where we make use of the test plan. Then test plan falls under your test suite. Then you have test cases. So all those can be mapped under this section. So I'll just show you my code also, the WebDriver IO and TypeScript we are using. So this is the framework that we are using. It is the TDD, test driven data framework, where we are adding all our configs here. You will find all your username, passwords here. You can add all those here in the config files. Then you have the constant file where you can add all your test data. Let me show you one test data. So this is one test data. You can add all your test data in this file, in the constant file. Then after the constant file, that is your test data file, you have pages. So like in Selenium also, you have some locators. So in TypeScript, we write our locators like this. The basic concept is same, it's just the language is changing. So this we have a well-defined structure for our web elements. In this whole page, we define our web elements. Then we have this page. In the page, we have 4 sections. First one is your main action, where you define what code is to be executed. Then you have sublogic, where you define each sublogic within the for loop, the try, catch loop. And then you have the verification methods. These are the verification methods. And finally, we have the wait. So this is the wait for the wait. So this is how we have defined our framework. This is how our framework looks like. In Selenium, we define it all in one page. Your locators will be on the top of the page and your functions will be at the bottom. So in this framework, we have defined both the pages separately. Then we have the test file. So this is services for the API automation. Let's keep it simple. I'll just show you the UI framework. So this is the test, where we define all our test cases. So this is the first test case, where it's same like Selenium. We define the before all condition, after all condition, then your test cases, then your it block. So as we define in Selenium test method, we have it block here. In the it block, we define all our test cases and we do call our methods where our page was defined from here, from the test class. So this is our test file. Then we have a separate file for the data types as well. This is how our data types file will look like. We will define the variable name with the data type. Suits. For example, the production suite, I need to run all these specs, all these files I need to run. So I've defined all the files which I need to run for my prod section. So I've defined all those sections here. So this is how our framework looks like. Basically, this is what we all need to know. Testing is not just finding defects, it's about improving the quality and then reducing the risk, and to ensure that the customer is satisfied. So, with the right mindset, tools, and processes, we become partners in building better software. Apart from this, I'll suggest that you can go through the ISTQB certification, so which emphasize structured testing, risk-based prioritization, and the continuous improvement. This certificate will also help you align with the global best practices. So that's it for now. Thank you guys and happy learning.